There was a client I worked with years ago. She was amazing. She had like cancer and stage 4, or it was a woman I knew, not a client. It was a woman I knew. She like literally was going to die, they told her. And she was like fucking early 30s, super young, brand new mom. And she said, no, I'm not accepting this for myself. So she had delusional self-confidence, and she decided she was not going to accept, a death statement for herself because she was a mother and a new mother. She needed to live for her child. And she searched the country, USA, to find a doctor that could help her with her diagnosis, and no one would deal with her. And she ended up bumping into someone randomly, and they were talking about her illness. And then they were like, oh my God, there's a doctor in Brazil. Like, this is all they do. So she reached out to that doctor, and then he was like, yes, I'll help you. And she's been in remission for years. So I remember I shared this story years ago on YouTube, and somebody fucking commented and said, well, then she didn't manifest it because she didn't heal her own body. And I'm like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So I'm like, so if you're manifesting money, then does that mean if you're not shitting out money yourself, that you didn't manifest the money? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So I don't care where the solution comes from, because you're always going to get more than one solution for everything. You're going to decide if you want to accept how it comes. And sometimes you'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes you'll say no. So yes, I manifested a hormone replacement therapy doctor, but even more than that, I had to change my mindset. I had to decide that I'm no longer someone who's dealing with this. Okay. I had to change my self concept. I had to change my self identity, because when I didn't have that self identity, it wasn't even working with the doctors. So even though I manifested out, because I'm not a doctor, right? I can't prescribe these things to myself. Like, even though I manifested that, it still didn't work when my mindset was not on point. So, you see what I'm saying? So I'm someone, I don't care. Like, let me tell you, if I'm manifesting in help outside of me, it's still because of me. I still manifested it. So, everybody to each their own what they believe, but I kind of feel like we don't want to limit ourselves, because then you're cutting off all the ways you're going to receive it, and then you get to pick which way you accept it, which is powerful. Oh, look, Kim got a new SP in literally 2 weeks, and now I'm thriving in my end even more. I love it, babe. I'm happy for you. Whether you manifest your specific person back or you decide you want somebody different, you're still going to fucking win, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, because there's 8 billion people on this planet. And if you look at the odds statistically, even though we don't care about that shit, right? Because we manifest extraordinary, but still there's going to be a lot of people in the world. I'm talking probably hundreds of thousands of people out of 8 billion that would check off all the boxes for you of everything you want in your person. And if they all were standing in a room with you, you would be the one doing the choosing of which way you wanted to receive it. And a lot of you probably wouldn't pick it from your SP. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't ever feel like you didn't win because you met someone else before SP conformed. Who cares? You're still getting what you want. I'm not going to sit here. Do you think I'm going to care if I get $1 million coming in from a different place than my business? No, as long as it's not like unethical, but I wouldn't manifest like something in bad, right? So I wouldn't care. I'm still going to accept the money. Are you crazy? What, I'm going to say, no, I can't take the $1 million. I can only receive it this one way. Like, hell no. Thank you, girl. I've been lifting since November and the shift is crazy. I love it. Keep it up, girl. We need to think, how would we act if we are loved and respected? Yes. Who would you be if you knew you are always loved and respected? How different would your life be? How different would you be dealing with people? How different would you be walking around? Is there a way to utilize delusional self-confidence to move past what seems like a plateau or stuck point? Yes. Who are you on the other side of this? If you already had the answer, if you were already living the life that you wanted, that version of you, she wouldn't be worried about being in a plateau or feeling stuck, right? Because she's already over that point. You see what I'm saying? When we're noticing we're in a plateau or we're stuck, we're really not living in the end dominantly, because you're noticing it. because the version of you living in the end, the version of you that's in a wish fulfilled, the version of you that's living in delusional self-concept or confidence, you know it's inevitable. You know it's unfolding right now to bring everything you desire. So you don't question or worry about when it's going to come. The only reason why people question and worry about when something's going to come is because they're not in the reality where they already have it. You're not being the version who already has it. That anytime I shift into a state where I'm feeling anxious or worried about something, or feeling like I need to make something happen in 3D in any area of my life, I instantly recognize it because I don't like the way it feels for the most part. And I say, no, I don't need to fucking make anything happen. It's going to come to me. I'm just going to work on the inner story and work on me being in the reality where this is it. Who would I be? What's this version of me? What is she doing right now? What is she thinking? What is she feeling? She's not over here worrying and anxious, so you really have to like check in with you and practice being that way. Is it normal to be unsure if you want love your SP months after affirming and seeing no movement? Been working on self-concept, but my SP is a good person, so I know it's not that he isn't good enough for me, but I can't figure what. Well, sometimes it might just be your brain, like maybe you don't think they're going to come back. So sometimes the brain will say, just let it go, right? Because it wants to give itself relief. Like they'll still come back that way too. I mean, I've done that a million times, but I think it's also like, we're never waiting around for them to change. You're just changing your story of you in relation to love. You're changing your story of your love life, and you're changing your story of them. That's it. And if they don't come back conformed, or they come back half-assed and it's not yet, and you're just like, you know what? I just want to release this. I don't even need this back in my life right now. Love them. Let them do their thing. You're still going to win, because you're still going to get what you want. They will come back at some point too. But let's say even if they didn't, you're still going to manifest in somebody else that you fucking are head over heels about, right? And you're still going to have to work on your self-concept, because they're still going to trigger you. So you're going to win no matter what. I think it's actually more powerful for people when they get to a point, because they've worked on their self-concept so much, where they're just like, you know what? Cool if they come back, not even worried, because you're not connected then to the past, right? You're really understanding that, wow, I'm so amazing and so worthy of being loved and fulfilled by an amazing, incredible person. I'm so excited for this journey, right? This new chapter of my life. And great if it comes from SP, wonderful. But in the interim, I am excited to see who I manifest in my reality, because I'm such a different version of me. I've changed my story of love and what gets to happen for me. Like, it's going to be fun just watching this shit unfold, and just living your best life and creating an amazing life, an extraordinary life. And they always come back, but you may not even want them. You may be involved with somebody else. You're not even going to give a fuck. I don't believe in being wanted, chosen, worthy, because it's literally your world. To me, it means there's something outside of you when there's not. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, I think it's how you choose, like your perception of what those words mean. I think there's a lot of people, like, I didn't have a belief about me with my self-concept for a long time because of being in foster care and my upbringing and programming, that I'm not good enough to have what I want. I had a lot of belief systems that I'm not a priority and I didn't matter because of how I was raised. So that transcended into my love life, right? So I would manifest that over and over. So for me, it was more about me deciding that, no, I am worthy of this, because I didn't know that I was, which is why I settled for less. So if people are always settling for less, it's because they don't know their worth and value. That's why we settle for less. If you know your worth and value, you won't even hesitate settling for less. You'll be like, hell no, are you crazy? You're not going to settle for less with anything in life. Somebody knows their worth and value, they're not going to settle for less with a job. You're not going to go to a job. If you went and got all this education, or you went and you got all this skill and training in something, and then you've invested years in your experience, you're like an expert, you're fucking incredible and have so much to offer. And then you go whatever, and somebody's like, they want to pay you like what they would pay somebody who's never even done this before or done anything you've spent the last 10 years doing. You're going to be like right there, right? You're not going to accept that, because you're worth more than that. And that someone out there knows that too. And they're going to give it to you. You're not going to deal with versions of any reality or people that are giving you less than what you're worth. So some people do need to start with the foundation of knowing their worth.